Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab.
Hi, everyone.
Get ready to expand your word power, because today we are diving deep into another 50 essential GRE vocabulary words.
Yep, 50 more. These are words you'll definitely want to know.
They really aren't just academic hurdles, are they? They're sort of keys to unlocking clearer communication and sharper thinking overall.
That's right. Mastering these words will not only boost your confidence for the GRE, the verbal reasoning, the analytical writing sections, but it also really enriches your ability to understand and, express complex ideas in all parts of your life, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our aim today is to go beyond just like the basic definitions. We want to explore the nuances, the practical uses of each term.
Fantastic. We're not just aiming for rote memorization here. We want these words to become active parts of your vocabulary.
Definitely.
So let's jump right in. The first word on our list is multifarious.
Multifarious. Okay. It basically describes something diverse, having a wide array of different elements or forms.
So lots of variety.
Exactly. Imagine, say, a vibrant cultural festival. It might have multifarious activities, music, dance, art, food, all sorts of things.
Right.
And, what's interesting is thinking about how seeing the multifarious nature of a problem, well, that can lead to more creative solutions because you're considering more angles.
That makes perfect sense. And thinking about everyday life, a smartphone is definitely a multifarious tool, isn't it?
Oh, totally.
Camera, music player, GPS, communication hub, all in one little device.
It really is.
And for those of you tackling the GRE, you're probably juggling multifarious responsibilities yourself.
For sure. Studying vocabulary, practicing math, working on those essays, it's quite a mix.
It is.
And the word itself gives clues, right? Multi for many, various for different kinds. It's pretty logical.
Yeah, that helps. Okay, next up, mundane.
Mundane. This one refers to things that are common, ordinary, maybe even a bit routine.
Like the daily grind?
Kind of. After, say, an amazing prep, coming back to the mundane rhythm of office life.
Wow.
It can feel a bit flat sometimes.
Yeah, I get that.
But, it's worth thinking about how those ordinary moments actually build stability. There's a certain comfort in the routine, maybe.
That's a good point. Simple tasks like laundry or groceries, they seem mundane, but they're, essential.
They form the fabric of everyday life. And for a GRE student, maybe reviewing basic math concepts feels mundane, but it's crucial. You need that solid foundation. It's not thrilling, maybe, but necessary.
Right. I've heard the tip to associate mundane with Monday, that feeling of the regular week starting again.
That can work. Okay, let's move to munificent.
Munificent sounds grand.
It is. It describes someone who is exceptionally generous, someone giving with great liberality.
So really, really generous.
Extremely. We often hear about munificent donors, people giving huge sums for scholarships or charities.
Right.
And it makes you think about the huge impact that kind of generosity can have, doesn't it?
Absolutely. A truly munificent donation to a hospital, for example, that could fund vital research, improve care for so many people.
Exactly. And for a student hoping to take the GRE, getting a munificent scholarship covering prep costs, that would be incredible, life-changing potentially.
Wow, yeah.
A good way to remember it is the link to magnificent. Think of munificent generosity as being magnificent in scale.
Magnificent generosity, I like that. Okay, next is myopic.
Myopic. This one has a couple of layers. Literally, it means nearsighted.
Can't see far away.
Right. But figuratively, and this is often how you'll see it on the GRE, it means lacking long-term vision, being short-sighted in your thinking.
Ah, okay. Like a company just focused on this quarter's profits.
Exactly. A company with a myopic focus on immediate profits might neglect investment in R&D.
Yeah.
And that could hurt them down the road.
Right. It makes you think about balancing present needs with future planning.
It does. We see myopic business decisions quite often, prioritizing short-term gains over, say, sustainability.
And for GRE prep.
Well, just cramming the night before the test. That's a very myopic approach. It ignores the benefit of consistent study over time.
Good example. The visual of being literally nearsighted helps remember that figurative lack of perspective.
It does. Okay, let's look at Nadir.
Nadir, N-A-D-I-R.
Correct. It's a noun meaning the lowest point, figuratively or literally.
The absolute bottom.
Yes. Someone facing maybe job loss, financial trouble, personal setbacks. They might feel they've hit the nadir of their life.
That sounds really tough.
It is. And thinking about historical low points, like the Great Depression being the nadir of economic prosperity in the 20th century, It reminds us things can be cyclical.
Right. So for a GRE student, maybe a really bad practice test score could feel like the nadir of their prep journey.
It could feel that way, definitely, though hopefully it's just a temporary low.
Hopefully.
And a good memory trick, nadir is the direct opposite of zenith. Zenith is the highest point.
Nadir's low, zenith high.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, next. Naive.
Naive, an adjective. It describes someone who is simple, maybe unsophisticated, often unsuspecting, lacking worldly experience or critical judgment.
So a bit too trusting, perhaps, believing everything you hear.
Kind of, like holding a naive belief that everyone is inherently honest. That can make someone vulnerable, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can see that. Like a naive traveler, trusting a stranger with their bags. Not always the best idea.
Sadly, no. And in the GRE context, a naive test taker might just assume the exam will be easy. They might not prepare enough.
Leading to a nasty surprise on test day.
Exactly.
The tip connecting naive to native innocence is interesting. Someone new to a situation.
Yeah, like someone just arriving, unaware of the complexities. Okay, moving on to nascent.
Nascent. N-A-S-C-E-N-T.
Right, nascent. It's an adjective describing something just coming into existence, still in the early stages of development.
Like a baby bird. Or maybe a new idea.
Good examples. We talk about nascent technology like AI was in its early days, showing promise, but still evolving.
Right. Or nascent startups, new companies just getting off the ground, showing potential.
Exactly. And for someone learning GRE vocab, your understanding starts out nascent, right? Then it grows with practice. And the etymology helps here. It comes from the Latin nasci, meaning to be born. So think newborn.
Nascent, newborn. Good link. Okay, how about negate?
Negate, a verb. It means to deny or refute something, or to make it void, ineffective.
So cancel out.
Basically, yeah. Strong evidence in a debate can negate an opposing argument. It just cancels it out.
Makes sense. So in a GRE essay, you might use counter-arguments to negate the opposition's points.
That's a key strategy. And in science, new research can negate old theories, forcing us to rethink things.
Right. Linking it to negative seems pretty straightforward for remembering it.
It does. Now let's explore neologism.
Neologism. Sounds like new word.
I got it. It's a noun for a newly coined word or phrase, or even a new meaning for an old word.
Like selfie. That wasn't a word a while ago.
Perfect example. Selfie is a classic neologism. Language is always evolving, adapting to new things.
So on the GRE, you might see neologisms in passages about modern topics, like cryptocurrency or gig economy.
Quite possibly. Or think about social media, hashtag, meme. Those are neologisms too.
Right.
And you nailed the breakdown. Neo means new. Logism relates to words, a new word.
Cool. Next term. Neophyte.
Neophyte. Also starts with neo.
So someone new.
Exactly. A beginner, a novice, or sometimes someone newly converted to a religion.
Okay, so a neophyte coder would be someone just starting out, maybe struggling with the basics.
Right. They're new to it, still learning. It reminds us everyone starts somewhere, you know?
True. And someone prepping for the GRE is often a neophyte when it comes to this level of vocabulary, right?
Often, yes, which is why dedicated study is so important. Or think of someone new to yoga, they're a neophyte practitioner.
Got it. The tip mentions neo for new and phyte related to plants, like a newly planting seedling.
That's a great visual, just starting to grow. Okay, next up is net.
Net, like a fishing net or net profit.
Both. It can be an adjective or a verb. As an adjective, it means what's remaining after deductions, the ultimate result, like net profit is profit after costs. As a verb, it means to gain as profit, or, like you said, to catch something in a net. You might net a great deal on something.
So it's about what's left over, or the act of catching or gaining.
Yes. When you think about GRE prep, you invest time and money, but the net benefit, the ultimate result, could be getting into a great program.
Right. In the verb sense, you're netting knowledge as you study.
Good way to put it. The fishing net image works well, catching what remains. Now let's talk about nettle.
Nettle. N-E-T-T-L-E. Sounds irritating.
It means to irritate, annoy, or sting someone, provoke them.
Ah, like stinging nettles. The plant.
Exactly. That's the perfect connection. Constant interruptions when you're trying to study, that can really nettle you.
Definitely. Or maybe technical problems during an online practice test that would nettle me for sure.
Right. Or even just like a coworker's annoying habit. It nettles you.
Okay, so nettles like the plant irritating. Got it. Next are two words, nevertheless and nonetheless.
Right. These are basically interchangeable adverbs. They mean however, despite that, even so.
They signal a contrast.
Yes, a contrast or a concession. You might say, the GRE was tough. Nevertheless, I kept studying. It shows persistence despite difficulty.
Okay. Or, I felt unprepared. Nonetheless, consistent effort paid off.
Perfect. Or, despite the rain, the team played nonetheless.
So they act like bridges, showing you're continuing despite something else.
Exactly. Think in spite of everything. Okay, our next word is noisome.
Noisome. Noisome. Does that mean noisy?
Common confusion. No, it doesn't relate to sound. It means offensive, disgusting, or harmful, especially regarding smell.
Oh, like a really bad smell.
Yes. The noisome odor from a dumpster, or maybe fumes from a landfill. Something foul and potentially harmful.
Okay, so not noisy, but disgusting smelling or harmful.
Right.
A GRE passage might talk about noisome conditions in a polluted city.
Could definitely happen. Or the noisome effects of industrial waste on an ecosystem.
Got it. Think annoying smells, not noisy sounds.
Next.
Nominal.
Nominal. This adjective has a couple of useful meanings. First, it can mean trivial, really small, unimportant, insignificant.
Pretty much. Second, it can mean existing in name only, like a nominal leader who has the title but no real power.
Okay. So a charity event might raise only a nominal amount of money. Like very little.
Right. Or you might pay a nominal fee for a practice test, where the real cost is your study time.
In name only. So it looks like something, but isn't really significant.
That's the idea. The link to name is key in name only. Now, its opposite, non-trivial.
Non-trivial, so not trivial. Important.
Exactly. Important or big enough to matter. Solving the GRE's quantitative section requires non-trivial math skills. It's not easy.
Right. It takes real effort. And writing a great GRE essay is definitely a non-trivial task.
For sure. Or tackling a huge issue like climate change, that's a non-trivial challenge.
Symbol breakdown helps here. Non means not, trivial means small. So non-trivial means significant.
You got it. Let's look at normative.
Normative. Sounds like norm or standard. It does. It's an adjective relating to establishing a norm or standard. It often implies value judgments, what should be, what's considered right or proper.
Okay, like normative guidelines suggesting how many hours you should study for the GRE.
That's a perfect example. Or normative parenting advice about how one ought to raise kids.
Though it's about setting standards or expressing judgments based on those standards. A GRE essay might ask you to analyze normative policies like ethical rules.
Definitely. It's all about relating to or establishing norms. Now let's consider notoriety.
Notoriety. Sounds like being noted or famous, but maybe not in a good way.
Exactly. It means ill fame, being well known for something bad or disgraceful.
Like a politician gaining notoriety after a big scandal.
Precisely. Their fame is negative. Or a historical figure known for cruelty might have notoriety.
So it's linked to notorious, famous for bad reasons.
That's the key connection, negative fame. Okay, next, novel.
Novel. Like a book, or does it mean new?
It primarily means new, fresh, or original as an adjective here.
Okay, so a novel approach to GRE prep might be using some new creative method, like gamification.
Good example. Or we talk about novel tech innovations like foldable phones when they first came out.
Right. Or maybe a novel AI study app for the GRE.
Could be. And yes, while it also means a book, thinking of a novel as a new story helps remember the new and original meaning.
Good tip. Okay, nuance.
Nuance, a noun. It refers to a subtle difference or distinction in meaning, tone, expression.
Like subtle shades of meaning.
Exactly. Appreciating the nuance in a complex argument means seeing those subtle points, maybe the balance between different sides.
Which is important for the GRE analytical writing, I bet. Understanding the nuances.
That's very important. And also for vocabulary, understanding the nuance between similar words like imply versus infer.
Right. Even in conversation, tone adds nuance, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Think of it as those delicate shades of meaning. Okay, next word, obdurate.
Obdurate. Obdurate. Sounds stubborn.
It is. It means stubborn, hard-hearted, hardened in wrongdoing, resistant to persuasion.
Really dug in their heels.
Yes. An obdurate refusal to admit a mistake, or an obdurate leader ignoring warnings.
So in GRE prep, an obdurate test taker might refuse to try new study methods, even if their current ones aren't working.
That could happen. They're just completely inflexible.
The tip mentions thinking of being hard like a rock, unyielding.
That captures it well. Now let's look at objective.
Objective, based on facts, not feelings. Unbiased.
That's it, exactly. Factual, related to reality, impartial. The GRE quant section demands objective data analysis.
Right. No room for opinions there, just the facts.
Yeah.
And scientists aim to be objective in their research.
That's the ideal, yes. Trying to remove personal bias. And for a GRE essay, presenting an objective evaluation is usually the goal.
Contrasting it with subjective based on feelings helps lock it in.
Good contrast. Okay, next is oblique.
Oblique. O-B-L-I-Q-U-E. Like an oblique angle. Slanting.
It can mean slanting, yes, but more often, especially in language, it means indirect, evasive, or even misleading.
Ah, so not straightforward.
Right. An oblique answer to a question might avoid the main point, cause confusion.
I see. So you might find oblique language in a GRE passage where the author is hinting at something indirectly.
You might. Or think about diplomacy leaders sometimes use oblique statements to be cautious.
The image of a slanting line helps remember that indirectness.
Yeah.
Okay. Obsequious.
Obsequious. This one describes someone who is overly compliant, servile, fawning, trying way too hard to please.
Like sucking up. A brown noser?
Kind of, yeah. An obsequious intern constantly flattering the boss, maybe? It often feels insincere.
Right. Annoying colleagues might find that behavior obsequious. You might critique that in an essay.
You could analyze it, yes. The tip suggests picturing excessive bowing to please that captures the servile aspect.
Okay, obsequious. Overly eager to please. Next, obsolete.
Obsolete. This means out of date, no longer in use.
Like floppy disks.
Perfect example. Totally obsolete now. Or typewriters in most offices.
Right. So older GRE prep books might become obsolete if the test format changes significantly.
Definitely. You need current materials. It's all about being old, outdated, no longer relevant.
Easy enough. How about obstinate? Sounds like obdurate.
It's very similar. Obstinate means stubborn, hard to control or change someone's opinion.
So stubborn again. An obstinate refusal to use flashcards, maybe.
Could be. Or dealing with an obstinate child who just won't listen.
How is it different from obdurate?
It's close. Obdurate sometimes carries a stronger sense of being hard-hearted, while obstinate is more general stubbornness, refusing to change one's mind or actions. Think stubborn as a mule for obstinate.
Got it. Okay. Obviate.
Obviate. O-B-V-I-A-T-E. This verb means to prevent, eliminate, or make something unnecessary.
Make it not needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Studying daily might obviate the need for last-minute cramming. You've made the cramming unnecessary.
Okay. Or vaccines obviate certain diseases.
Good example. A solid GRE study plan could obviate panic on test day because you're prepared.
The tip says think obviate makes something obviously not needed. That helps.
Nice connection. Next is occlude.
Occlude. O-C-C-L-U-D-E. Sounds like block.
It means exactly that. Stop up, close off, block, obstruct.
Like a blood clot occluding an artery.
A serious example, yes. Or a blockage occluding a pipe.
So for GRE study, distractions could occlude your focus. Block it.
They certainly can. You want to avoid things that occlude concentration. Picture a clogged drain blocked.
Okay. Occult.
Occult. This one has a few related meanings. As a noun, it's the supernatural. As an adjective, it relates to magic, mystery. As a verb, it means to hide or conceal.
So magic, supernatural stuff. Or hiding something.
Both. Someone might be fascinated with occult practices like tarot. Or clouds might occlude a mountain peak, hide it from view.
Ah, okay. So a GRE passage might discuss occult beliefs in ancient history.
Very possible. Or in astronomy, the moon can occult a star, pass in front, and hide it.
The root occultus meaning hidden makes sense then. Okay, offhand.
Offhand, usually an adjective, means casual, informal, without preparation. It can also mean kind of rude or brusque.
So, like an off-the-cuff remark. Casual.
Yes. But sometimes an offhand comment, because it wasn't thought through, can hurt someone's feelings.
Right, like an offhand remark about someone's score might seem dismissive.
Exactly, or just an offhand reply that seems disinterested.
Speaking off the cuff helps remember the casual, unprepared sense. Good. Next, officious.
Officious. O-F-F-I-C-I-O-U-S. This describes someone who is overly eager to offer unwanted advice or help. Meddlesome, pushy.
Someone sticking their nose in where it's not wanted?
Pretty much. An officious tutor might overwhelm a student with constant, unsolicited suggestions.
Or that officious coworker who's always telling you how to do your job, even when you didn't ask.
That's the type. It's best to avoid officious people when you're trying to focus on GRE prep.
The tip about someone officially meddling is funny but helpful.
Okay, offset.
Offset can be a verb or a noun. It means to counteract or compensate for something, a counterbalance.
Like balancing things out.
Exactly. You might try to offset a lower quant score with a really high verbal score on the GRE, or companies buying carbon offsets to counteract their emissions.
That's a perfect real-world example. Or studying extra hard can offset a poor practice test score.
Setting one thing off against another to balance. Makes sense. Now, onerous.
Onerous. O-N-E-R-U-S means burdensome, oppressive, hard to endure.
Like a heavy burden.
Yes. Memorizing, say, 1,000 GRE words can feel like an onerous task.
It definitely can feel that way sometimes. Or dealing with tons of complicated paperwork that's onerous.
For sure. GRE prep itself can feel onerous, but breaking it into chunks helps. Linking onerous to burden is the key.
Got it. Opaque.
Opaque, adjective, means not translucent, not letting light through. Figuratively, it means unclear or hard to understand.
Like frosted glass is opaque, you can't see through it.
Right. And a difficult GRE passage with really dense language could be called opaque, hard to grasp.
So an opaque question on the test would be confusing.
Yes, unclear, poorly worded. Contrasting it with transparent helps. Opaque is the opposite.
Okay. Opine.
Opine. Simple verb, means to express an opinion.
Just stating your opinion.
Yep. She opined that the GRE isn't as hard as people say. That's her opinion.
So in a GRE essay, you opine on the issue. You state your viewpoint.
You do, or colleagues might opine on different strategies in a meeting. It's directly linked to opinion.
Easy one. Next, opprobrium.
Opprobrium. O-P-P-R-O-B-R-I-U-M. Sounds serious.
It is. It's a noun meaning disgrace and strong disapproval resulting from shameful actions. Public condemnation.
Wow. So a company caught doing something really unethical might face public opprobrium. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Widespread scorn and criticism, like public figures involved in scandals face opprobrium.
A GRE passage might discuss the opprobrium faced by a corrupt historical figure.
Could easily happen. Think of it as intense public shame and disapproval for bad behavior.
Okay, optimal.
Optimal, adjective, means best, most desirable, or favorable.
The absolute best option.
Yes. An optimal GRE studies schedule balances work and rest effectively. Finding the optimal test state is important too.
Like finding the optimal temperature for baking a cake. The best possible setting.
Exactly. It's about the most favorable conditions or choices for success. It's very close to our next word.
Which is optimum.
Right. Optimum can be a noun or adjective, means the most favorable condition or the greatest degree possible.
So very similar to optimal. The best possible state.
Pretty much interchangeable in most uses. The optimum time for GRE prep is often said to be about 3 months. The optimum study environment is quiet and focused.
Okay, optimal and optimum both mean best or most favorable. Got it. How about orotund?
Orotund. O-R-O-T-U-N-D? This adjective can describe a voice full, rich, clear, resonant.
A powerful voice.
Yes, but it can also describe language or speech that is pompous, bombastic, overly grand.
So it can be negative too, like trying too hard to sound impressive.
Exactly. An orotund speech might sound grand but lack substance, or an essay using overly orotund language might seem pretentious.
Tough thing. Ground, booming voice, but also potentially pretentious language. Okay, orthodox.
Orthodox, adjective, means adhering to traditional, established beliefs or practices. Conventional.
Sticking to the usual way.
Right. An orthodox approach to GRE prep might just use the main standard study guides, not experimental.
Like orthodox religious practices follow long-established traditions.
Exactly. Or an orthodox GRE strategy would definitely include timed practice tests.
The ortho root, meaning straight or traditional, helps. Okay, oscillate.
Oscillate, verb, means to swing back and forth, like a pendulum. Figuratively, it means to waver between opinions or choices.
Like a fan oscillating,
Yeah.
moving side to side.
Yes, and a student might oscillate between feeling confident and feeling doubtful about the GRE.
Or oscillating between studying and wanting to procrastinate.
That too. That back and forth movement or indecision is oscillation.
Got it. Ossify.
Ossify, O-S-S-I-F-Y. Literally, it means to turn into bone.
Like cartilage ossifying.
Yes, but figuratively, it means to become rigid or inflexible in attitudes or habits, to harden.
So someone's views might ossify, meaning they become rigid and resistant to new ideas.
Exactly. Their thinking has hardened like bone. Or study habits can ossify, making it hard to adapt.
The os root relating to bone is key here. Hardening and flexibility. Okay, ostensible.
Ostensible, adjective, means stated or appearing to be true, but not necessarily so. Professed, seeming, apparent.
So the reason given, but maybe not the real reason.
Precisely. The ostensible reason for missing class was illness, but the real reason was skipping.
Okay. So a GRE passage might question the ostensible motives of a character, what they seem to want versus what they really want.
That's a common literary analysis point. Or a company's ostensible environmentalism might hide profit motives. It's about the outward appearance.
Got it. Different from our next word, ostentatious.
Yes, though both relate to appearances. Ostentatious means pretentious, boastful showiness, designed to attract notice and impress others, often vulgarly.
Showing off.
Flashy.
Exactly. An ostentatious display of wealth, or someone making an ostentatious show of their GRE books to seem smart.
So ostensible is about a pretended reason or appearance, while ostentatious is about a showy, boastful display. Good distinction. Ostentatious is deliberately showing off. Okay, outstrip. Outstrip, verb, means to surpass, exceed, be larger or better than, leave behind.
Get ahead of. To beat.
Yes. A great GRE score might help you outstrip other applicants. A fast runner outstrips the competition.
So consistent GRE practice could help your progress outstrip someone who only studies occasionally.
That's the idea. Or a new company might outstrip older rivals through innovation. Think stripping ahead, moving faster.
Okay. Overshadow.
Overshadow, verb, means to cast a shadow over, literally or figuratively, to dominate or make something seem less important by comparison.
Like a tall building overshadowing a smaller one.
Yes. Or a really strong verbal score might overshadow a weaker quant score on the GRE.
Making the weaker score seem less significant because the other is so good.
Right. Or sometimes one bad experience, like a poor practice test, can overshadow months of good work if you let it get to you.
The image of a shadow covering something works well. Okay, overwrought.
Overwrought, adjective, means overly nervous, agitated, or excited. It can also mean too ornate, too elaborate, fussy, especially in writing or art.
So either emotionally worked up or stylistically overdone.
Exactly. A student panicking during the GRE could be described as overwrought.
Or an essay that uses way too much complicated vocabulary might be overwrought and hard to read.
Perfect. It's excessive either emotionally or in style. Think overworked.
Got it. Palatial.
Palatial, adjective, suitable for or resembling a palace. Magnificent, spacious, splendid.
Like a palace, really grand.
Yes. A billionaire's palatial mansion is the classic example. Or maybe a very fancy palatial testing center, though that might be rare.
Probably. But the link to palace makes it easy. Okay, palliate.
Palliate, P-A-L-A-A-T, verb, means to make something less serious or severe. To relieve symptoms without curing the underlying cause.
Like easing pain or anxiety.
Yes. Reviewing your GRE mistakes can palliate anxiety by making you feel more in control. Painkillers palliate symptoms.
Okay, so practice tests might palliate stress just by making the format familiar.
That's a good way to think about it. It lessens the severity of the unfamiliarity. Think of palliative care easing suffering.
Got it. And our final word for this dive, pallid.
Pallid, P-A-L-L-I-D, adjective, means abnormally pale, usually from illness or fear, lacking color or vitality.
Pale skin, washed out.
Right. Someone might look pallid after pulling an all-nighter studying for the GRE. Exhausted and pale.
Or an essay could be described as pallid if it lacks strong ideas or vibrant language. Lifeless.
Exactly. It lacks color and energy. Picture pale, lifeless skin.
Okay, pallid, pale, and lacking vitality. Whew.
And that concludes our exploration of another 50 essential GRE vocabulary words. Quite a list.
It really is. Remember, everyone, the most effective way to really learn these words, to make them part of your active vocabulary, is through consistent practice and actually using them.
Absolutely. Don't just read the list.
Right. We encourage you to actively use these words. Try making your own sentences, use flashcards for review, and definitely keep an eye out for them when you're reading.
The more exposure you get, the better they'll stick.
Definitely. Keep building that vocabulary, and you'll be well on your way to GRE success and just, well, stronger English skills overall.
Couldn't agree more.
And if you found this deep dive helpful, please do like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more language learning content.
Thanks for joining us.